Hello everybody, it's FRC Formula Racing Championship, round 14 of 17. We have just four races to go to know who's going to win the 2011 championship. And today it's going to be the qualifying for the the Korean Grand Prix. It's going to be the first racing weekend in South Korea in the Formula Racing Championship history. So we still don't know who is uh, good at this track, who is bad. So let's find it out as we're starting the qualifying in just a few moments. Okay, Q1 started. We have the first drivers on track. And we have only 7 drivers who still can fight for the crown of the world champion in 2011. And these drivers are Smittler and Fraser from Ferrari, Bagus and Gabriel from Red Bull, Bouch and Owen from McLaren, and Berta Kiesling from Mercedes. Also, it could have been Darbus Daniel, but sadly he's on P10 in the championship, the Mercedes driver, and he is unable to fight for P5 even, I think. But yeah, everything is possible, as uh, everyone can score maximum 100 points in the last 4 races, as the races are going to take place at Asia and South America. It's going to be Yeongam, around 14, South Korea. Then it's going to be India, another Asian race, and then 2 races. Sorry, then it's Yas Marina, United Arabic Emirates and Interlagos, the season finale at Brazil, round 17. Well, Chapman is already on the final lap. He's P18 in the championship. And I guess he can have a fight with Adam Hidayat for P17, as there are just 7 points between them. Then it's Berta Kieslin behind the HRT, who is now on P3 in the championship. He can fight for the... he has a real chance to with the championship. He's just 25 points behind Max Mittler. So he has a chance to become the championship leader after this race if Max Mittler scores no points and Berta wins the race. It doesn't even matter if he's going to get the fastest lap or not, but at the same time he also has uh, to think about Aditya Bagus. Previously, these two had a battle for the second position in the championship, but now the whole top 3 is fighting for the championship. Chapman says the first time of the weekend, it's 141.271. I'm sure that Kesson can do better, yes, 140.9. Blackwood is going to be the next one. Force India is going to be on P3, even slower than the HRT. Tansley up into second, then to Lotus, Lotus of Hida at P7, then Gabriel P3, Abovich P1. And just 1/10 of a second faster than Kiesinovan and Bagus, as his teammate is on second position, Bagus P4. Martinez on P7, Santin Andreoli P8, Arnold P12, Fraser faster than Abovich by 4 thousandths of a second. These are some really close times. Smither P6, Erika Hanebus P15, as Aitken is ahead of her. But now he's on P16 as Daniel P7, Tos P11, Armin P10, as Oskan P17, Messi P19, and Nielsen on P20. So for now, Colin is looking really good, as he is on 14th position. So basically he has a chance to make it into the second qualifying stage. He already was in Q2 at Monza. So he's shown us some really good qualifying results recently. Okay, everybody is making it into the pits. Nielsen is on P20, the teammate of Colin. But at least he's faster than Arnold and Hidayat. Hidayat was looking really good in the first half of the season, but something went wrong and his qualifying times were becoming worse and worse. And instead of fighting for um, the seat in Q2, now he's trying to overtake his teammate, Lionel Messi. Lionel is P19 at the moment. And in the championship, Messi is last with just 3 points. Oh. What is Erika doing at Lotus Garage? And, as usual, some pit lane traffic in Q1. As now Kieslin is going to be the first one to leave the garage and to make it onto the track. Then we have Tilesley, Abovich, Fraser, Chapman, the Red Bull of Yuri Gabriel, then Baked Oven, Aditya Bagos, the Force India Frazetta Martinez, then Santina Andreoli. Looks like Hidet is stuck. waiting for other drivers to uh, come through, and yeah, now he's finally leaving his garage. So we have Andreoli, Blackwood, Armin Daniel, Hanemus Hidayat, and Max Midler. Kieslin is already going for the flying lap. I hope there is going to be no traffic ahead, but possibly it will be Lionel Messi. Yes, it's Messi ahead of him, so it will be a bit difficult for Berta to make a better qualifying lap. We also still have Aitken in the pits. Looks like he's uh, just doing nothing. Well, doing nothing is not the best phrase, so just preparing for the next qualifying run. Kieslin is already completing the middle sector and, as I thought, not the best, as he's losing more than a tenth of a second to the personal best, and I'm not sure that it was Messi's fault at all. But now Messi is really slowing down Kieslin. We've seen a lot of karma before, like drivers whose laps got ruined by another driver getting past the second driver who was ahead, and as a result ruining the lap to the next driver. Apovic is now crossing the line, also not the best time, and he's staying on the second position. Fraser is going to be the next one, and it's P1, even faster than, well, still faster than Apovic. And he is improving the personal best and staying on the first position. No improvements for other drivers, only Andrea up into P12. And, well, looks like that's all, but we also have Erika Hanebusa, who makes it up into P9 after being on P18 in the risk zone. Max Miller is the next one to cross the line. And let's see if he has the improvement. He was on P7 and he has absolutely the same lap time as Daniel Fraser had. And look at these gaps between the top three, just 1,000th of a second. That's brilliant. Arnold crosses the line and makes it up into P20, now Nielsen is P21, Toast has no improvement, Oscar is the next one to cross the line, and now Blackwood is going to be in danger. Oscar improves on his lap time, but sadly just does not make it into top 16. Nielsen still on P20 improving, Messi no improvement, and I guess that's all. As we have 5 more minutes. What about Colin Chapman? He's still on P15. And I guess it's time to take screenshots for the Ferrari fans. as the cars of Italian team are now on the top of the standings in Q1 with absolutely the same lap time. Arnold is now making it into the pits, the Williams driver. Here are two Williams cars. And we have such an interesting detail here. It's Frank Williams in the pits. Sadly, he has passed away recently, so rest in peace, Sir Williams. You will not be forgotten. Just having a look at different teams' garages. Okay, it's time for the final qualifying runs to make it into Q2, as we had such a close battle here and still have it. Especially when the drivers from P16 to P22 are just in half of a second. Yet that does not sound quite close, but at least it's not 3 seconds between them all, like we had in 2010. Anyways, Kiesin is going for the flying lap, but actually let's take a look at Rosetta Martinez, who is excuse me, who is still at risk. He's on P14 at Force India. As his teammate is at even more dangerous position on P16. Well, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting as Rosetta crosses the line and starts the lap. The next one is going to be Aitken, who is on P17. Andrew P13 still can be counted as the dangerous position. Then Blackwood P16. Tasley is quite safe, but well, I'm not sure. Then it's going to be Armin P11, still nice. Chapman P15, also at risk, and he can make it into Q2 for the second time in 3 last races. Then it's Beethoven, he's fine, Daniel is fine, Hidayat is still quite dangerous position. Kiesling is not improving. Looks like Gabriel is also not improving, but it does not really matter. Let's just skip all the top drivers. But no, he is a bit faster than the personal best and quite close to Daniel Fraser's lap time. Rosetta Martinez was not improving, sadly. And I guess the Force India driver just has to hope that nobody is going to overtake him. Okay, Oscar has the no improvement, okay, 10 seconds. Who's going to make it to cross the line? Toast. Crosses the line and starts the lap. What about Arnold? And he also makes it, unlike Erika Hanebusa, but that does not really matter to her, as she already makes it into Q2. Yuri Gabriel crosses the line and from P3 to P1. Oh, that's really good, still 4 thousandths of a second between the top 3 drivers. Fraser, still second, Martin's not making it, Newsom not making it, Oscar not making it, Aitken really close, only P17, Andrelli P9, Blackwood P16, Tesla P11, Bagus P7, Abosh P4, Armin P12, Chapman. Do we have anybody outside top 16? Yes, we have. And it's Adam Hidayat, the Indonesian. Let's see how good is he going to be. Uh, as he is improving on the middle sector, but it was just a minor improvement. And it's not even enough to get past Arnold, who is on P21, the Williams driver. As Hidayat is losing almost a second to Yuri Gabriel. Here comes Adam Hidayat to cross the line down the final corner. And the Indonesian from Lotus is going to be on P21. He overtakes Arnold, but does not even make it into top 20. Smeetler has no improvement, Kiesin is in the pits, and now Fernando Tos, who is on P13, and Alexander Arnold, who has got an improvement. Not just a minor improvement, but almost 4 tenths of a second faster. And he can make it into Q2. Yes. He surely can. Down the main straight, he comes in, it's P11, it's P11! Chapman is still on P16, but what about Blackwood? Blackwood is down to P17. Well, that's it. So yeah. These are the Q1 results. I did not even press anything, but the game decided to stop the Q1 and show us the results. Anyways, here are Blackwood, Aitken, Oskan, Messi, Nielsen, and Hidayat not making it into Q2, unlike this fantastic HRT driver Colin Chapman, and the driver for Williams, Alexander Arnold. What about others? It's also Williams of Fernando Tos on P14. So a great qualifying by Williams, as both of their drivers are inside the top 16 and making it into the second qualifying stage. Anyways, that's all for Q1, and see you in a couple of minutes for the second qualifying stage, where we're going to know who's going to be starting from the top 10 positions and who's going to be starting from P11 to P16. Okay, we're back for the second qualifying stage. Now we have only 16 drivers, and the drivers who have got eliminated after Q1 are both Lotus drivers, Messi and Hidayat, both drivers for Toro Rosso, Aitken and Oskan, FRC India of Jeffrey Blackwood, who finished on P17, and Emil Nielsen, uh, who is going to be starting from P21 tomorrow. Well, the Q2 has already begun, and we have the drivers on the track. Well, these drivers are Daniel, Loven, Gabriel, Armin Abovic, Bagos, Arnold Tansley, Chapman, Andreoli, Kieslin, Smitla, Fraser, Hanebuse, Tost, and Martinez. Well, that's it. All 16 drivers on the track now. So we just have to wait until the first lap times are going to be shown. Daniel is going for the flying lap. Well, Daniel is completing the middle sector with the result of 51 seconds. Now it's going to be turn 15. Or not. Well, turn 15, turn 16. Into such a fast turn 17. And into the final corner. Even faster. Full throttle 140.612 for Daniel. Not really bad, as he's faster than Owen by a quarter of a second. Gabriel's going to be on the second position. Vucic Armin from Renault is going to be on P4, of course. Because Renault is still not a contender for the pole. But they can do it. Abosh P3, Bagus P7. With Armin on P5. Talsley P8, Chapman P6. The next one's going to be the Renault of Santino Andreoli, making it into P6. And then Berta Kieslin on P5, Smither on P6, Fraser P7. Ergo Hanebus P8, such an interesting classification, P6, P7, P8, P9 for Toast, P8 Martinez, and that's all for the first laps of the session. And yes, looks like this track fits quite well for the Zauber, as Erika Hanebuse is still inside the top 10. That's an impressive result for Zauber, and also a great job by Erika Hanebuse. Also, what about Dalsley, the teammate of Hanebuse? He is now on P15, but still better than Bagus. Probably that was a mistake. And let's take a look. I guess it was here, and yeah, he ran wide. All locked up, ran wide, and as the result has lost more than a second. Well, Chapman is still looking really good among the midfield drivers, as he's even faster than Armin and Telsley. Also counting that HRT is not even a midfield team. Yes, they scored a lot of points at the start of the season, but it only happened because there were a lot of crashes, a lot of action. As we can also remember the first race of the season, the Australian Grand Prix, and right there, HRT has scored uh, some points. Well, it was P10 for Emil Nielsen. The next race was at Malaysia, and they finished on P5 and P6. Means they scored the biggest part of the points they ever scored this season, and they scored 45 points overall. Still better than Toros and Lotus. So there is also another battle in the Constructor Championship is a battle for P8. HRT is not looking really good at the end of the season, so it's time for Toros to overtake the Spanish team. Okay, it's time for the second qualifying runs in Q2, as we have already Daniel on the track completing the middle sector. Also Telsley, Owen Chapman, Gabriel Fraser, Armin Arnold, Smitla Abovic, Andreoli, Bagos Tost, Kieslin Martinez, Hanebuse. That's all. Daniel is starting the flying lap. He's looking quite good in Q2. And he's 1/10 of a second faster than Yuri Gabriel. I have nothing to talk about, so if you want to become a commentator here, if you want to commentate the races, you can join our Discord server, the link is in the description, and you can just freely join the race stream's voice chat. and to commentate the race or the qualifying session. Well, 5 minutes left in the session. Daniel has no improvement. Let's take a look at Jake Tilesley. Is he going to be faster than the personal best? And yes, he is. The next one is going to be a baked oven. And yeah, now I'm not sure that... no, it's not the middle sector. I'm sorry, it's the first sector. It's just too long. As it is completed by 50 seconds. Also, Oven has an improvement. Gabriel is behind Chapman, and he has some problems, but it would be catastrophe if it was not Gabriel, but his teammate Aditya Bagus, who's struggling after the mistake on the first fly lap. Tesla mixed up to P9. Bagus is still on P16. Well, what about other drivers? Oven is going through the chicane into the final corner. Here he comes, and less than 4 minutes left. Oven crosses the line, and he's going to be on P3 ahead of his teammate. Chapman and Gabriel side by side, Chapman and Gabriel side by side. But karma is not going to happen as Chapman has already completed his flying lap. Fraser P6, Armin P11, too close to the top 10, Arnold sadly no improvement, Smitler P7 only, Apovich up to P3 overtaking his teammate once again, Santina P9, then it's Aditya Bagus who is on P16, but he's not improving again. He's not improving again. What was the problem? What was the problem? And I guess it was and here and white there. Looks like he is struggling with the car. Probably the problem is in the setup. Probably. So that's another bad luck, or not a bad luck, or just a mistake by Aditya Bagus. Yes, he improved, but by just 5 thousandths of a second. He is up into P4 ahead of Oven. And that's not over yet. Rosette Martins on P8 and Erika Hanebus on P13 are still yet to complete their flying laps. Martinez is going to stay on P8, but Erika is going to be up into P11. It's still not enough to make it into top 10, but still a solid result by the Zauber driver. Talking about Bagus, he also was struggling at Monza during the second qualifying session, and as a result he was starting from P11. Or he was not, but anyways he finished the qualifying in Q2 with the 11th result. Well, so basically it's going to be another bad qualifying for him, as we already have less than 2 minutes, and that means that he is going to be out of the qualifying session. So, Hanebus is going to be P11, Toast P12, Armin P13, Arnold P14, Chapman P15, not bad for an HRT, as he's starting ahead of Red Bull. Yes, another bad luck for the driver who is fighting for the championship. So, it's going to be an advantage for Smitler and Kieslin in the battle for the championship. Anyways, that's it, and I guess we'll see you later in just a couple of minutes. Yes, it was only P12 and P14 for Williams, but I'm sure that Frank is happy with the result. let's go for Q3, as we're going to know the results of the qualifying session quite shortly. 15 more minutes in the qualifying, and we're going to know who's going to be the pole sitter for the first ever FRC Korean Grand Prix. Yeah, I guess the battle is going to be quite exciting. Also counting the battle for P1 in the first qualifying session, it did not mean anything, but at least that was beautiful when we have seen 3 drivers inside the top 3 in just one, not 10th, not 100th, 1,000th of a second. And these drivers in Q3, oh sorry, in top 3 were Fraser and Smither with absolutely the same lap time, and Gabriel losing just 1,000th of a second to them. Well, the result, Gabriel has finished the session on P1 with just 4,000ths of a second ahead of the Ferraris. Now we have Q3 and the first drivers on the track are Beethoven and Abovich, two McLarens. Then it's going to be Bertie Kiesling, Rosetta Martinez, Max Smither and Danny Fraser, Jake Tousley and Yuri Gabriel. And finally Darabas Daniel and Santina Andreoli. And actually comparing the results between the drivers of Q1 and Q2, of the drivers who have got eliminated, Bagus was even slower than Adam Hidayat, as Hidayat has shown us a time of 1 minute 41 seconds and 582 thousandths of a second, while Bagus has shown us one lap time which was 1 second slower, 1 minute 42 seconds and 420 thousandths of a second. Anyway, Soven comes down the final corner and starts the lap. I guess now we can remember the calendar once again for the rest of the season. As after the Korean Grand Prix is going to be an Indian Grand Prix, and the same weekend is going to be round 7 of Formula Renault, and the weekend is hosted at Brno at Czech Republic. Such an interesting venue, and right after that it's going to be another F1 Formula Renault combined weekend, as F1 cars are going to be racing around the beautiful Yas Marina circuit, while the smaller but still fast cars of Formula Renault are going to be fighting for the championship of Formula Renault at Paul Ricard. So the best young driver of the series is going to be decided at France, or the championship is going to be crowned at Czech Republic. Well, who knows? But I guess that the champion will be decided at Paul Ricard, because the battle in the championship is just too close. And also considering that you can score maximum 10 points for the win in the race and no points for fastest lap or pole position, so it's these are some nice conditions for the drivers to have an interesting battle for the championship. For now, everybody can score maximum of 20 points per weekend, and now we have only 5 drivers fighting for the championship. Just 5. Imagine it. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 21 driver. I was mistaken, not 5, but 21 driver. Okay, let's get back to the session, as Yuri Gabriel is still the fastest. Not still the fastest, but yeah, he's the fastest for now. Darvis Daniel is going to cross the line and he's going to be only P6 after that beautiful performance in Q2. Santino Andreoli is even faster than him. Probably there was a mistake by the Hungarian. But he's still slower than the Renault. Uh, Well, that's the job of the commentator to say something positive about the driver, and it's going to become negative. Or if you say something negative, it's going to become possible. As I was talking about Renault, that they are not the contenders for the pole position, and here comes Andreoli in P5. Well, that's really good. That's really good by Renault. As Santina is even faster than Beethoven, Darabas Daniel, and Abobovich. That's how good he is in the current conditions. So we can't say that Renault is looking bad in today's qualifying, as Santina is at the moment on P5, that's fantastic. And also Armin couldn't make it into Q3, but still P13 is going to be a nice position on the starting grid. Less than 10 minutes to go. Even it's going to be less than 8 minutes in just a couple of seconds. So everybody will have one or two more attempts to fight for the pole position. Owen is already leaving the pit lane with 7.5 minutes remaining in this session. The driver behind him is going to be Berta Kiesin with a huge gap between them. After they leave the pit lane, looks like nobody else is going for a flying lap, or they're just going to do it a bit later. And yes, there are. Dave Fraser, who's on P4, is also leaving the garage with the Mercedes of Berta Kiesin, of Darbus Daniel behind him. 7 minutes remaining. Yes, I'm going to be reminding about the time left every single minute. Uh, the gap between the first and the second position is not quite good for the intrigue as it was in Q1. Still a tenth of a second. Okay, behind Smither we have Andreoli, then Abovich Martinez, Gabriel, and Tilesley. Again, what about the title contenders? Not just the title contenders, but the real title contenders. There are three of them. Bagos has P16, Smitler, the championship leader, is on second position, and Berto Kiestin is on third. So all the drivers, all the contenders are quite close to each other, not counting Aditya Bagos. After his fabulous win at Singapore, he has terrible luck in qualifying sessions. As it happened at Monza, it happens at South Korea. At Singapore, he has finished the qualifying session on the second position, right behind Max Miedler. And also, as it happened at Belgium, he was on P7 in the qualifying. Let's get deeper into the past. As at Hungarian Grand Prix, he was on P8. Also not the best result, but still not the elimination after the second qualifying stage. At Hockenheim, he was on P7, also not the best result. The British Grand Prix, he was also P7 again. And at Nürburgring, he was on P5. So basically, every single qualifying session he finishes on P5, P7. And he has got a rare second position at Singapore. Bertokessin is now second, and the lap times are getting closer and closer, just 6,000th of a second between the P1 and P2. That's really interesting, as Smith moves on to third. His teammate Fraser is completing the final sector. He had no improvement on the first two sectors. Hopefully he's going to be fine after he crosses the finish line, but no, he is still on P5. Max Meter is the next one to cross the line, also no improvement after the middle sector for the driver from Wales. As he's staying on P4, Andre is staying on P8. He's down to P8 after these improvements. Abosh P3, Martinez P9, Yuri Gabriel is still on P1, even if he does not improve. Tensley is the next one to complete the final sector. And yeah, that's interesting, but we have not seen any yellow flags during the qualifying session yet. Hopefully it does not happen. Tensley P9, Martinez moves down to P10. Okay, he's still on P10, Rosetta Martinez. And I guess that's all. That's all we have just... and it looks like the session is over actually. We have 2.5 minutes left. So it's going to be Gabriel starting from the pole position. Congratulations to the Brazilian. Kieslin is going to be starting from second position with just a gap of 6,000th of a second. And Tabosh is going to be starting third. Not bad for the Russian, but behind him is going to be the championship leader Max Mittler with Owen on P5. So basically Max is in such a McLaren sandwich, as he's going to be starting between two McLarens. And that's interesting, but we had no yellow flags, no penalties, nothing for the qualifying of the Korean Grand Prix. Okay, on P6 we're going to have the Ferrari of Fraser starting, P7 Daniel, P8 Andreoli, P9 Tyson, and P10 Martinez. So Kiesen is going to have an advantage on Max on the start of the race. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow. See you next time for the race of the Korean Grand Prix. I wish you good afternoon, good evening, good night, and goodbye.